Welcome to day 2 in Panama, where I am going to start off the day in Parque Natural Metropolitano. So this is a little park, well, it's actually a big park, really quite close to the city. It just butts up right next to the city. And I'm looking forward to a little bit of walking, a little bit of hikes, see what I can find with the natural world, yet so close to the city. This was about a 12-minute bus ride, maybe slightly more, from my room. And I just had to catch the bus that was going direct to the Albrook Mall, which I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. But this park opens at 7 a.m. and it is 7:03 right now, so I am going to be there soon. It's just a little bit further of a walk, I don't know, another 5 minutes or so, and I should be at the visitor center. And then I'm able to head on in. I really don't know what to expect. I just know they have a few trails, but my approach in this trip is to just pick out a few places I know I want to go, but don't do any research. I just want to experience and discover it. Hopefully fresh. Is that a good way to put it? Experience and discover it with new eyes and no expectations. So let's get to this park, shall we?
This is the map. We are here right now in the visitor center. And at the beginning you have two options between Roble and Caobos.
Okay.
Roble is very easy. It's flat and short, and another one has some elevations like that.
Okay.
But both of them connect and get you to the ranger station.
All right.
When you get there, you can continue with Fonotiti or maybe Cieneguita to the viewpoint Cerro Cedro, where you can see the view of the Panama City.
Oh, very nice.
It takes 2 hours to do all of them, 1 hour going to the viewpoint,
Okay.
and just 1 hour coming back.
Awesome.
So the majority of them connect between them, so you have different options to go at and just get down.
Perfect.
And the last one, Homotides, that is the only one across the street, very short, 20 minutes.
20 minutes, all right.
So do you see the table at the end?
Yes.
To the right is for the easy one,
Okay.
and to the left for the another one.
Okay.
In case you need directions, there is another person in the area.
Okay. All right, it's about 7:12 and I'm already starting to sweat. So I took off my hat. And this is a nice, wonderful place. Little place to play for the kids here with a little playground. My intention is to then get to the canal this afternoon or sometime later today. So I'll do this, gonna head to Albrook Mall, and then after getting a lunch there at the mall, I will then head on up and try and take a look at the canal. That is the plan. Don't hold me to it. If things change, I am hoping you will forgive me. All right, so I have 2 options here. I will be doing the Los Caobos, and then she said here was a place where I can go the easier route that way, or a more somewhat, she called it well, I don't think she used the word strenuous, but anyway, it goes up and over the hill, that kind of a thing, has lots of steps and whatnot. So I think I'm going to go this way and I'll come back this way. And while I'm doing so, while I'm starting out, I figured I might tell you what happened yesterday. The shooting in the Old Town went pretty good, went pretty decent. Certainly not a bad experience. It just wasn't that kind of thing. Just really, I don't know, it just takes me a little more to get into. Plus for the longest time, the lighting was just so harsh, as it is now. I think, well, this is only my second day, but if I were to make a guess, an assumption, I would say that it is going to be probably something that is going to be really bright in the day, and then of course rainy or cloudy in the afternoon. It is the rainy season, so I should expect a little bit of that. We've got a map here. She was just showing me the map, of course, but I'm going to take this route here that goes up and around and comes this way, and then I'm going to come up and around this way, and then there's a view of the city here, and then I'll come down and then I'll take the straight path this way, And then this one down here, she said, is what takes 20 minutes. That's what I'm going to consider optional. After I was done shooting yesterday, I decided, well, I'm gonna go down to this place a little bit south of town, and it's on this peninsula. I honestly forget, it's Amador or something. I'll show you the map here really quick so you can see what it is. And I was like, I want to get down there, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break at this Albrook Mall, which is a huge mall. They have 3 subways there. That is the Subway restaurant anyway. So I got on a bus that said Albrook, took the bus, and it went exactly the wrong direction. So what is apparent to me now was that it was for some reason saying that it started at Albrook. But if you're all the way on you're already on your way, why do you tell me where you started? I don't care. I want to know where you're going. So anyway, got on the wrong bus, and it really delayed my time there, my efforts there. And I can see I'm definitely going to need the polarizer when I'm shooting. The greenery, I almost always use the polarizer when I'm shooting greenery, but this is incredible. So anyway, I ended up getting off the bus one stop further where the metro is, because I got off the bus at a metro stop, at a metro station, and it was one stop further than I had actually started the whole thing when I got off the plane and got to the metro station via another bus from the airport. And I couldn't believe it. So then I bailed because it was just keeping on going. I was finally looking at the map. I was like, okay, you're going out there? No. So I was done with that. Took the metro back to the room. Actually had a very late lunch in the room, and then decided to call it for the day. It was my first day out, first day here. Still kind of just tired from, I mostly relaxed a couple of days before I came down here. But the week and a half prior, I was in Gillette, Wyoming for this big, huge event that my church was having, where we had 60,000 people show up for this thing we call the Pathfinder Camporee. And I was the photo editor for the newspaper there. And yeah, it was great and all that. No, beautiful. It was cool. I'm glad to have done that. It's just, it takes a lot of energy. And so I was still shifting my gears and trying to get things situated, ready to shoot here. And now I am just sweating like mad. Anyway, beautiful trail, awesome place. And so I didn't feel guilty, if that's a way to put it, for taking the rest of the day off yesterday. I did go and walk around the Albrook Mall, and I knew that'd be good because I just like to see. It's always a curiosity to me. What are the shopping experiences? What are the other experiences? What is this and that like in a different country? They do things a little differently, and I'm always curious about that. So I satisfied that curiosity, and now I feel like I can focus on the details. Details like this branch here, and some of these trunks, and these, lots of good stuff. Like I said yesterday, I think it's pretty much time that I just plumb get out the camera. Actually, there's a little place up there where I'm gonna do that. And once the camera is out, it just has that slight little shift in my thinking about how it goes, and the creative vision starts happening a little more intently. I'm a little more on guard, as it were, looking for something that's going to be awesome to photograph. The cost to get in here was $4. It's extremely pleasant and very nice people working here, and yeah, this is well worth it. Well worth the time and effort. I can still hear the traffic, so we're definitely close to the city. But just take a look at all this gorgeous stuff. This is really nice. And what a great way to start day 2. All right, I'm going to continue on up the trail, and we'll pick it up when I find my next shot, or I should say my first shot, which might only be another 3 feet or so. This is really cool. I don't know how easy it's going to be to see that fog on the lens, but it's there. perfect example of acclimating your equipment. I figured it would probably be long enough, but it obviously isn't. It is so stinking humid. And it's not like it's that hot right now. It's just really humid. And then I had the air conditioning on all last night for the room, for my bedroom. And then, of course, the bus is air conditioned. And this is all, of course, insulated in my bag and whatnot. But if I want to do this and just get right to shooting, really what I need to do is store my bag in an area that is not air conditioned, and then I don't have to wait the roughly 10 minutes for this to clear out, because the glass is so cold and that moisture just condenses. Now I do have a lens cloth. I could absolutely wipe it off. It won't do it any good though, because the glass is still going to be cold and the moisture is still going to be present in the air. So I'm just going to be patient and wait for that. I'll probably just start walking, and the slight movement of some air will help it clear out. I do have actually an area I could store it in, basically my bathroom, that's attached to the room. When I close it off, no AC gets there, and it has a vent direct to the outdoors, a big window basically that I can open up, and so that can be the outdoors climate basically in the room, in the bathroom. And I will do that starting tonight, because when I start out my morning tomorrow morning, I'm not going to want this to happen. That's going to be kind of disappointing. So there you have it, a little delay in the shooting process, but that's all right. It should be, let's see here, no, it's still about 50% covered. So I'm just going to pick it up and start walking, and once that's clear, I'll put my polarizer on. And of course the polarizer may end up doing the same thing. I've got it out of the bag now, but it's still in its little case. So anywho, such is life of a photographer in a really humid environment, and I'm used to shooting in very dry environments, but hey, that's all right. So I made it to the top of this more, I don't know what the lady called it, rough hill, steep hill with some climbing and steps, that kind of a thing. And I got my first shot, and here we go. Let's take a look at it while I'm talking here. It is overlooking the city, and it's just nicely framed with all of this foliage. I think I'll get a few other framings too. The lighting, of course, is kind of sort of back side lit kind of a thing, where it's coming not from directly behind the city, of course, but it's also not exactly from the side either. I guess it is mostly side lit, but it's a little bit back too. And then, of course, with this fog, this moisture, this atmosphere that's happening, I'm using the polarizer to help bring out some of that blue in the sky, and of course to cancel out some of these reflections in the foliage. But this is still going to require a bit of a luminosity mask adjustment to really bring in that detail, I think, in the clouds. And that's going to be something that it shouldn't take too much to do. The wind is extremely calm, as in non-existent. Of course, you can hear all these bugs, and I got birds, and I saw a toucan. That was really awesome. I might regret making the fateful decision to leave my long lens back at the room, because I was like, oh, this bag is so heavy. And I'm on a Sony a6400. It's lightweight gear, but anyway, I'm much happier toting this bag. But you know, now I miss the what is it, a 350 millimeter on the crop sensor is close to 550, 560 millimeters if you were full frame. But anyway, the toucan was too far away for me to make anything good out of it, even with that lens, but still, saw a toucan. That was awesome. Let's get back to the idea of the luminosity masking, and that is where the wind is just non-existent, so these leaves are absolutely still. I don't have to worry about any shifting that's going to happen. If this is the slightest breeze, I would worry about the shifting that's going to happen. But really also, I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm just going to have to paint in a little bit on those clouds, a little bit in the sky, and maybe a little bit in the buildings to give it a little bit of definition, because I got two exposures about 1 2/3 stop apart. And I usually do a full 2 stops just to round it off, round it up, whatever. But this really didn't need it. I was looking at that histogram, and I didn't need that full 2 stops. But anywho, it's going to be just fine. But I just need to paint in a little bit of that detail, and that's going to be really easy to do in Photoshop. Hello. Thank you. Beautiful country.
Yeah, it's a nice park.
Oh yeah. I saw a toucan earlier. That was really sweet.
right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Have you been in the Parque de Cruces?
No.
That's much bigger. This is about 40 hectares.
Okay.
The Parque de Cruces is 4,000 acres.
Woo.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. He was recommending Parque de Cruces, I think. Ah, yes. That is the other one I was looking at going to. He said this was like 40 hectares, I think is what he said. And this other one was like 4,000. And I can see it's definitely different, definitely much larger. Probably not going to be able to get up there. It's described here on Google Maps as a vast preserve of tropical forest. These bugs are really loud. It's going to be a little bit downhill, and then a little bit easy, and then on uphill again to a... The lady made it sound like it was even more open as far as the view of the city, which will be cool to see. But I really like this and how it's just everything framed in. And I'm going to go ahead and get some different framings too, because when I zoomed out a little bit on that lens, I was just like, okay, this is too cliche, this is too postcard-ish, but still I thought it was a nice shot, and I grabbed it anyway. But finding that unique image, that unique angle, of course that's what I'm most interested in. I do not view this as anything unique at all, just a nice record of having been here, something I would love to put maybe on my desktop or on the, on the iPhone wallpaper, whatever. Well, I got about 30 feet down the trail, maybe 50 feet at the most, and I came to my next shot. Ah, that's awesome. I have the Merlin bird app from Cornell University, and I downloaded the Panama section, and hopefully I can see what that bird is. It'll hopefully play again. All right, so with this image that I just shot here, I'm doing a bit of a focus bracket a little bit, because I'm zoomed in to about 55-60 millimeters, somewhere in there, and it's f8 at 2 seconds. This is with the polarizer on there, so I'm taking 2 stops out due to the polarizer. I really liked this idea of the composition with that 3-leaf, dominantly anyway, three dominant leaves, and then this tree, I guess, that fell over, and its roots are still trying to grasp into the dirt. It just made a really cool pattern, and then it's anchored with those 3 leaves. So again, it's something that just spoke to me about it, but I really wanted to get that focus stack, because I know that depth of field, that f8, this is not that deep in the field, so it should theoretically come through, should be just fine. But depth of field calculations, there's a 4th element to depth of field calculations that we often don't think about, and that is the percentage or the ratio of the enlargement. So of course your aperture plays a key role. That's the one we most frequently think of, and then your focal length plays a role, and the distance to your subject plays a role. But that aspect, or the ratio of how much you enlarge it, the percentage of your enlargement, that also plays a role. Since I like to make big prints, I'm not guaranteeing this is going to be a big print, but I'm guaranteeing if I want it to be a big print, I have a better chance that it's going to work out. I don't really want to go any deeper than f8, because I fear I'm going to start degrading the image quality. f8 is definitely a good sweet spot for this 18 to 135 lens, and the more closed I get on that aperture, I get this phenomena called diffraction happening, and that will start to soften or degrade the quality of the image as well. Not that that's really going to happen on this lens, and also at 50 millimeters I could probably go to f11 and I wouldn't tell a difference, but then my shutter speed gets to be too long at 2 seconds already. I'm just guaranteeing, I want to guarantee that even the slightest of breezes doesn't cause me any problems, and so that 2 seconds I'm really confident we're going to be just fine here. Yes, I love this kind of stuff. The great outdoors is what it's about for me, to be able to experience a bit of his creation and to understand not only his creation, I don't know that I can really understand all that, but to get a glimpse of the magnitude of God's creativity. And we are all made in his image, therefore we are creative by nature. This is how I respond to that. Creating my own things, putting my own commentary on it. Not that I'm going to create something, you know, earth-shattering or brand spanking new compared to all this. It's just, this is the way I can honor and respect and celebrate. It's so exciting. I still hear the buses though. So I'll get out further in the next couple of days. I'll be way out in the mountains, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's get down the trail. Well, as the day goes on, it's about 9:30 right now, so it's not too terribly late. The light is just getting harsher and harsher, which of course makes sense. The sun is getting higher and all that. But this tropical paradise is not really living up to one of its names, and that is it's just really bright sunlight. And I was hoping that being the rainy season, it would just really tamp that down a little bit. I am right next to the coast, obviously, being in Panama City. And so there's some variance there rather than being up in the mountains where it might be a bit more foggy more consistently, a bit more cloudy more consistently. But anyway, one thing that the tropical paradise is living up to is this whole notion of you sweat like mad, at least I do. This shirt I'm wearing, absolutely dripping. When I put my arm down to just, you know, do a regular walk or whatever, the sweat will just drip off of my little pinky finger. Not going to show that to you, but that's the way it is. That's what's happening. But I'm thinking that my shooting here might be done, might be close to done. I did get one shot of some roots down yonder, and well, those might have turned out. I tried to get a detailed shot of what looked like a type of fern. I know it's not a fern, but anyway. But there was just too many hot spots in the background. I tried to isolate it here and there, different compositions, but it just had too many hot spots where the background was being lit by the direct sun, and that was just not going to work. So we'll take a look from up top here and then take this road all the way back down and then to the entrance, of course, and on our way then for possibly an early lunch at the Albrook Mall. But first things first, let's get to the top. Maybe I'll catch a breeze and I can dry out a little bit. That would be amazing. Okay, as I came to the top, I got a little sidetracked by this spider building a web pretty much right in the main trail area. It's pretty flat on top here, but it feels more worn and right in this area. And that reminded me a little bit of my time in Hong Kong when I came across a spider that was across the entire path with a massive web, and I got all caught up in it. The spider thankfully was not in the web itself, because those types, I did a little research. I said when you get bit by those spiders, it's like 10 wasps stinging you. This one, I'm gonna have to do a little research on, see what it says about that. But oh my goodness, that is an amazing spider. All right, the viewpoint is right over yonder, and we'll go see that here in a moment, and then it's gonna be on downhill. The light is such, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna take any shots, but we'll get on over there and we'll check it out anyway. Well, my suspicions were correct. It's really not good light for taking a photo. So I got the video. You can see what that's like, but it's a beautiful overview. It's awesome. Glad I came up here. But as far as making a fine photograph, I just don't see the point and purpose of it. So I literally didn't. Even to just have a record photograph, I did not do that. I have my overview from the previous one that I liked a little bit better. I'm gonna hoof it on out of here. Of course, if I stop and shoot something, I'll stop and shoot something. But this would be amazing as as we look at this again. Let's take a look at this area one more time. This would be amazing, I think, right around sunset time, or as we get close to it. Unfortunately, they close this place at 4 o'clock, so there's no chance of getting sunset. The sunset's around here this time of year at about 6:30, and so yeah, closing this place at 4, it'll take me at least a half hour if I were to hoof it. So I'd have to get my last shot at around 3:30, and that's not going to be much different than what I have now. What I have now, of course, is backlit. It would be front lit, so at least it'd be a little bit better in that regard. But as it relates to the nice, wonderful light that you get later in the day, yeah, it's not going to be there. All right, so we'll pick it up wherever we find ourselves next. Gracias.
Y seremos bendición y Panamá. En el nombre de Jesús, Padre, estamos reclamando Panamá para Cristo, a los 4 vientos, Señor, en el nombre de Jesús.
So I just finished shooting, well, not really shooting, just finished at the Miraflores Visitor Center for the canal, the Panama Canal. Kind of cool. They have an IMAX video there that I took a look at. Did not do any video here. I don't know if it's just because I didn't think of it or just what. I did take a few pictures and I'll show those to you here. But they're very much just plain run-of-the-mill, just whatever. Took a few with my cell phone as well. And now it's actually starting to rain. I just missed the bus back to the mall. I was thinking of going up and taking a look at a big bridge that crosses the canal, that crosses the river, canal / whatever. But decided I'm still going to try and go down for my sunset shoot, see what I can get down there. Again, I've not done any actual real research. This is all about discovery and just figuring things out along the way. You might view that as a waste, but I view it as a bit more intriguing and fun. All right, more to come from Panama in just a few seconds for you, but I got some traveling to do.
Hola, 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 ¿qué tal?
Well, I finally made it out here for my sunset. Hopeful that it'll work. So much clouds, shouldn't be surprised about that really. Given the rain we had just a bit ago. There was lots of rain. I started to think that maybe my plans for sunset were going to be foiled. This is obviously a huge tourist trap. Let's take a look. What with the, whatever you call that thing, kind of a train. La Vida Bella. Isla Perico is where I'm headed. I want to, the map shows that there's a path that goes up to the top there. But I'm also feeling I need to get over there, because over there I can see the city and I can get a feel for the city and what it looks like. And then as I walk back on this causeway, I should be able to photograph the city as the sun sets and the lights turn on. That is assuming they light up the city at least halfway decently. If there's hardly any lights, then of course that's going to be kind of pointless and senseless. this place I wanted to go to, it says it's part of National Aeronaval and it's all chained off and everything. So I have a feeling I'm not welcome over there. So I'm gonna go walking back over yonder, see what it takes to get on top of that hill, if it's maybe gonna be worth it, I don't know. Hopefully there's a sign over there or something that can tell me what it's about. Well, this idea is not going to work because, as you can see behind me, there's a guard station there. And no, I didn't even go talk to the guy. Just don't feel like even finding out. I was hoping it was just going to be a road or a pathway that goes on up, and it's not. So I'm going to go look for something else and just wander about a little bit. Still have about 40 minutes until sunset. Don't expect any color at all. The cloud cover is quite thick, and it's just going to be, I just don't think there's going to be much. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm always happy to be wrong on these things. So the goal is I want to get the sunset, or I should say after sunset, the city lights coming on and the city skyline. If I can get that, then I'm going to be a happy camper. All right, I decided to bring it back a little bit here just to show you a little bit of this causeway and the view of the city that I'm looking for here, that I'm trying to get. It's kind of nice. I think this could make probably a really good black and white. There's just no color anyway. But if I can get the boats positioned just right, and if I can get, everything else kind of going along. There is movements in the clouds. There's obviously movements in the boats too. So if I do too long of an exposure, then it's going to, I don't know, it might mess up, because there's not going to be a lot of movement either. That's the thing. If there's a lot of movement in the boats, then it could be really cool. I think this is turning out to be a pretty nice shoot. I'm seeing some really dark clouds over there, but I'm kind of like where I'm at with the boats and with the lights that just came on this boat, or have been on this boat for a little while. A light literally just came on one of the buildings, 2 of the buildings, 3 of the buildings. So they're literally coming on as I'm watching it now. And I see myself just hanging out in this area within a half a mile or so of this spot, because I can walk down that way some more for sure. That's the 2.5 miles to the next bus stop. And then of course I can come all the way over here again and get some shots from this area over here. So this is a nice place to, I think, hop back and forth just a little bit, not try and go all the way back, but then I'm going to be able to get some nice changes to the overall scene as I'm going back and forth. I think that's going to be kind of nice too. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for commenting. If there's anything you'd like to know about, anything you want to tell me there in the comments, that'd be amazing. I'd love to see that. And certainly, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to do so, and certainly share it as well. Would love to have you share it with someone that you know would enjoy this kind of stuff. All right, I had to jump back in here and just start off, share, whatever, and with what is possibly going to be one of my favorite images of the day, with this palm tree right here and the city behind. It's just really coming out pretty good. And I also got it extended so I can have it as a pano, and it's offset versus perfectly symmetrical, but just liking what I see here. And I thought I would just give us a little bit of a bonus and end with this, even though it's really, really dark. Maybe what I should do is do that so you can see me. There we go. And so just figured I'd end it here with a little bit of a bonus commentary on this particular image. Of course, I'm still shooting, and there's going to be other stuff, but I was fairly, when I saw that, I was walking up to it, I was like, yep, this is gonna be some good stuff. Alrighty, signing off once again. Until next time, God bless and happy shooting.